New timeout links. Got it. There we go. Praise God.
Praise the Lord.
Oh my goodness, we have had a day
Yes,
today.
yes.
Praise the Lord. That means you're doing something right?
That's right.
That
That's
is
right.
what that means. How are you doing tonight, beautiful
I'm doing
lady?
good.
This
I'm
is-
excited. I'm doing good.
I know, I'm nervous. I can tell the truth. I'm nervous and excited. So this is our new platform going into 2024. Only expecting more
Yes.
abundance, more blessings. But the more we give, the more we give back to the Lord and just anywho, having a good time. So tonight is the Alicia Norman story. And this has been a story that has been on my heart and spirit. I know probably at least 3 years. I know for sure 3 years, maybe a little longer. It's embarrassing to say. But COVID hit.
COVID hit. Yes, yes, yes.
And then we still tried to keep the show. We kept the show
We
going.
did. We kept the show going. We
But
did.
we had a really good time. But at the end of the day, we're here today. And I'm really, really excited. So thank you for
And
being...
thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
We
you, guys.
appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
So you are Genesis for the new face of our
Okay.
show.
Yes.
I like it so much. So we're gonna talk about the Alicia Norman story. So
Yes,
I think
ma'am.
we're just gonna like chop it up like good time girlfriends and just have a good time because there's so much information. I brought my little cheat sheet. So you guys
I have
some
mine
notes
too.
And but tonight the Alicia Norman story, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a very special title that goes over after that, and that is From Prostitution to Prayer. And I would like to go ahead and give a special shout out and kudos to your husband.
Hi, baby. You're watching.
Exactly, Mr. Hank Norman, because that was his brainchild.
Yes.
It just
out,
boom, boom,
out there.
right? He was like, Sid, woo woo, boom, boom it out there, doing that interview. So I just wanted to do that because that's a little bit of making sure that we do our, we're gonna give credits, right?
Give our credits.
Give our credits and make sure we do our just due. So I'm just gonna go sit back and we're gonna relax and we're gonna have a good time and we're gonna talk about the Alicia Norman story. This beautiful lady was born in Los Angeles, and then when she was a young girl, she moved to Puerto Rico, and she had a lot of early childhood memories there. So I was just wondering, can we maybe just start at the beginning?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want to talk about Puerto Rico, which in your lifetime there.
That's Alicia Delgado.
Okay.
That's my last name is Delgado.
Oh, okay.
So that's Alicia Delgado. It's a lot of Delgados. I went to Puerto Rico when I was like 5 months old. My mother met my father while he was in the army, and he was out here. Remember, Central used to be like all the nightclubs back in the 50s.
Yes.
So that's how they met. And then when I was born, they moved to Puerto Rico and stayed with my granny. In fact, I have a house in Puerto Rico, big mansion that they say is mine. So
Wow.
full of agriculture and full of plants, and I don't want to mess with that though. I probably got some uncles.
Yeah,
I
you
probably got
hire
some uncles
some
over there
hired
with some
hands.
cocaine over there or something. So I'm gonna leave them alone. Delgados are no joke. My memories of my father. I remember more of my father than my mother because I was a daddy's girl. I was his only daughter. So he took me up here and we went to the beach. We picked coconuts up from the trees and he would cut them and we would drink the milk out of them and eat the coconut. I remember the schools. The schools in Puerto Rico are like, almost look like prison because they're like layers and then in the middle is the playground. So each grade has a level of stairs or so. I remember going to school. I just remember that. I remember going to New York. We had more cousins in New York. Puerto Ricans are full of New York are full of Puerto Ricans. That's how come my words get. Because when I came back out here, I couldn't speak. I was speaking English and Spanish.
Okay.
So the teacher told my mother, the kindergarten teacher told my mother, or whatever class I was in, said, "We don't know what she's saying." Because I was speaking Spanish and Spanglish for real.
Wow, that is
So, because my daddy was speaking Spanish to me, my mother was black, she's speaking English. So, they were, if my dad was still living, I'd probably be full bilingual.
For sure. Well, how do you feel about your culture and your roots?
I can't wait. Me and Hank are going this year. My daughter did a DNA test. And she was trying to find some of our family. And what happened is someone called us, "Are you Alicia's daughter?" So So then all these cousins started calling me. We had a big Zoom thing, and they like, because they remember me because I was young. But my father's brothers and sisters, it was 12 of them. So they all have kids that remember me. I don't remember them, but they remember me. And they'll say, prima, and they call me now. And so they're dying to see me.
That is beautiful.
I have pictures of them and everything.
Oh,
We have a whole family reunion thing on Facebook.
oh my God, I can check that out. That's on your page too. We have to check that out. I would like to know. No, I think that's skipping too far. What about when you came back to Los Angeles after you left Puerto Rico?
When I came back to LA, we moved in Regina Court, where my grandmother lived behind us, and we were renting from Hank's father. So Hank, my husband, lived next door to us, and we lived. So I was 9 and he was 4. So we would like play at the park together, go to school together, walk to school together. I would babysit him sometimes and watch him for his mom. So we rented from his father.
Oh my gosh.
He owned property there, and that's it. We just moved from place to place. After that, we lived first in Regina, of course, and then we lived other places. I don't really remember them, but yeah. And then then what happened is my mother and father broke up. She never divorced him, but they broke up. I actually caught my mother cheating.
You caught your mother cheating?
Yeah. And being a daddy's girl, I told my daddy.
Oh my God. You spilled the beans.
I told my daddy, and so I would run away a lot.
What was the fallout like? You didn't see the fallout. Did you see the fallout?
Yeah, kind of. I remember them arguing and him saying he's leaving and him pinning my mother against the wall. And she's, so he left. And being a daddy girl, I didn't know that was going to happen.
No, right.
How old are you? Like 10?
Like 10. And I didn't know like that was going to happen. Maybe, maybe 13.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was going to happen. So what I did is I ran away a lot. And every time I looked up, the police was going to get me from my father's house.
Oh, you would run to his house?
Yes. So I made my mother promise when I turned 15 that I can go live with my father. And because we didn't have the bond like my father did. I did with my father. So she said, okay. So I got 15, I went to live with my father. And he owned motels on Figueroa. And he also owned gas stations. And, Puerto Rico is Mexican. They got a lot of jobs. So I went there, but he owned motels, but he would be there at night, which left me open to do whatever until at nighttime.
Trouble.
Yeah, I was 15 then. By the time I was 15, I was doing that. Ooh. So he would go to work, and I do my little, I had little boyfriends, and I was going to Crenshaw High, and then that's when my drug habit started. It was really slow. It was really slow with the weed first, and then snorting the cocaine, and then I met my daughter's father, and he was robbing, and so I was like I had one foot in the life and one foot not, and then one foot in the life and one foot put on a banana peel. So slip to the life,
right.
And I was a wild girl at 15 and 16 years old.
Do you think it had to do with the infidelity?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I'm just wondering, what do you know?
I've thought about that a lot, being my field now. I think about that a lot. I think so. I think so.
That was like a way to try to manage it all.
Right.
Like even seeing the trauma afterward.
Because I was a little wild. Yeah. That was Lisa.
How old, at what point did you know there was Elisa? And how?
That's a good question.
Like, were you like?
Lisa was on the streets. Lisa, when I was young, I was Lisa. Or Lily or
15?
Lisa. 15, I was still Lisa. But I was, to my father, was always Alicia. He never called me Lisa. I was always Alicia. But the traits of Lisa came out mostly when I started being on the streets and using, really using drugs, using crack cocaine. But Lisa didn't really come up until then. I got pregnant when I was 15. No, I got pregnant when I was 18, 17. I had my daughter when I was 18. And then I married her father while he was in prison. So I had a prison wedding.
You know they have a show out called Prison.
Wives.
Have you seen it?
That's
I haven't
prison.
seen it.
Prison Wives. I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
I got married, but we were. He's the mother of my child. You know, he's the father of my child. So we got married in prison. Then when I was the only single married woman I know, because he was in jail and I was on the street, so it's like okay, you know. So I didn't really consider myself married.
Is that like a long distance relationship?
It was like, yeah, I took conjugal visits, and I would sneak drugs into the prison. That's when Lisa started.
Okay.
That's when Lisa started. Come to think about it, doing stuff like sneaking drugs to the prison. Come on now, girl, that's kind of bold. And I couldn't wait to leave that place to go back and smoke some more drugs without him. Yeah.
Okay. So did you? So that was about what age?
21.
Yeah. Okay.
But before we get to 21, I have a question about, you had this close bond with your father, right? And so he's working at night, and Lisa's kind of out there.
Doing what she wanted to do at 15, 16 years old.
When did your father find out, and what happened in that finding
that's
out?
a really good question you asked. There's a story behind that. My father came home one night, and one early morning, and my daughter's father had spent the night. He fell asleep accidentally because he had asthma real bad. And my father came home, and when he woke up, he stuck a gun to his head and said, "You want to sleep with my daughter? You get her apartment." So since he was robbing, 2 days later, we had an apartment.
Right.
So yeah. To that question, I forgot the question.
Well, I just wondered how he found out. He found out that you were
This is
being
the
wound out.
sad part. So when my father found out I was doing drugs, he smoking weed or drugs. If you're gonna do drugs, you're gonna do them at home. So he started having his brother. This is back in what, the 80s,
Right.
and 70s really. 70s really. He was like, okay, so since you want to smoke drugs, we'll just do it at home. We'll do it at home. So I had an uncle in Puerto Rico, and he would fly here with the cocaine. So I always had it at home.
Why cocaine?
That's my Lord.
Was it like a hell of a drug, like it says?
So how did you
It
make
was-
the leap
it was fun
from
then.
weed to cocaine?
So
Did your
it was-
father
it was-
introduce you?
no,
Your dude
I introduced him.
You introduced your dad. Okay.
So it was weed, and then drinking, Mad Dog and stuff, and then smoking the Primos in Crenshaw High, getting kicked out of Crenshaw, getting kicked out of Dorsey, and then it was then it starts the smoking cocaine. That's when it was ether based. It was ether based, and it wasn't like it was now. Ether based, and then you could smoke all night and go to work in the morning, and and keep yourself up snorting it. But it wasn't like you couldn't function without it. It's when the rock came out that you couldn't function without it. But you could kind of handle it. You could party, have a good time, and smoke and go have a good time. But nowadays you get stuck in the house somewhere. So
Right. Because they're pretty much stronger things and stuff now. I guess it's so holy moly. That sounds like a good time.
So you got an uncle who's bringing you cocaine from Puerto Rico. And so are you and your dad and your uncle just
no, my uncle
having
never
a party
stayed.
time?
He would just send it over.
Oh, he would just send it over.
But my dad would. I never smoked with my dad really.
Okay.
Because he would just make sure it's there
Right.
and not have to go out nowhere and get it. But then when that stopped, I used to go to work with him sometime, and I have to back up something. Before I started using it like that, I used to run away. When I used to run away to my father's house, I would run away sometimes to his motel where he worked at night. And I used to wonder why he tell me to stay in the room. I could never go outside. I was on Figueroa. I could never go outside. Now I know why.
Right.
The prostitution out there. So he would have all the like big time dope dealers come. That's where they would cook their cocaine and package their cocaine up. And I didn't know what was going on. But I wasn't smoking cocaine then. But he would tell me don't go outside. And one time I went outside on the sidewalk and he had it. Now I know why.
Right.
Now I know why.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Now I know why.
I know. I have another question. Would you say that you just have a propensity to the wildlife?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Most people say, why did you start using drugs? Because it was fun. I mean, come on.
Then why not?
There weren't all bad times. There were some good times, but they don't. The worst times were the worst. Were worse than the good times.
Got it.
So, I like the peace I have now.
Right. Because that's part of when we get to that transitional phase. But I think we probably got a little. You know what? We got a lot more stuff.
Yeah, because right now you just got married to your baby's father.
Right, and then
And how long was he in? And he was away from you?
4 years.
4 years.
And when he came out, I was gone. I was like, I don't need you. I don't want you. But he came back, and I had my own place. I had a baby, our baby, and when he came back, he was like he wanted to be a bachelor. I'm like, fine. So he wanted to mess around, so I went back to live with my father, and then things got really bad for me as far as because I had her on his birthday. He has green eyes. She has green eyes. So there was no way his family doubted that was so they always took her. I always had free time, as usual. Again, here I go, free time. I always had free time. So it was like, please let us watch her, please. So go ahead, Friday to Sunday. I just had free time again. And that's how I started really getting into the drugs more and more. Because I knew so many people with so many drugs. I started selling the drugs, and then I would walk and drive around with scales in my car and mess with gangbangers in the 60s. It was crazy. It was really exciting.
Right.
And do you think that's what kept you going deeper and deeper, was the excitement?
Yeah.
Was it kind of like an adrenaline rush that you
definitely. And this is the quiet girl, because when I was growing up, I was like a square, quiet, real skinny, no boys, no nothing, just invisible. But when I broke out, I did it like a party.
In a big way. In a big way.
Flip-flop.
I did it like a party. I'm like, oh, Lord, what is this going on here? I like this, Because when her father was young, he left me the cars. I had the mobile phone in the car. That's how old it was. I had the 2 cars, I had all his jewelry, I had everything. The apartment, I had everything. Because he was,
right.
Robbing life, yeah. Money.
Absolutely.
But
the worst part is when at that time also, about 17, 18, 20, that's when I started going to, I don't know if we get to that yet, I started going to jail a lot.
At 17?
You want me to tell the total number of times? I'm going to let you tell it. The total number of times. I want to
how many times?
Well, when I started going to jail,
because I want to hear about the first time. I need to know if you don't mind. The incident.
I'm an open book.
The incident and like what to, what happened. You
Very
ain't got to tell me about the crime.
Everything is open. Everything is
admitted.
open to me. The very first time I went to jail is I was selling weed and I sold some to a cop. Pooey. Yeah, I sold some to a cop. But
he would set you up essentially.
He set you up. I only went for a day. And that was just weed, so that was easy. So I really went to
Were you nervous? Did you have anxiety?
No, that's the problem with me.
Oh, you sold me to a cop and you weren't nervous?
No.
But that's it.
Because I was in the light. It's like, okay,
like whatever.
Okay, so then
Gotcha. Love it.
the very first time I really got, I was out in the streets. This is when I started not being able. My father was in Puerto Rico, had passed. My father had passed in '82, and I started going on my own. And my daughter was with her grandmother, and I just left her there. I left her when she was 2. I just left her there. To me, she was in good hands. I had that mentality that people think now. When I am her, the best thing for her was me, but I just wasn't there. So I started going out on Figueroa to my daddy's motel that he owned before he passed. To me, I think I was trying to get to him.
You started going
outside, girl. Outside, because that motel on Figueroa.
Wait, did you start going outside because you were curious?
I needed some cocaine.
And the cocaine was outside.
The money was.
That's right.
Okay.
The prostitutes were. Gotcha. On Figueroa.
Yeah, was your daddy wasn't alive.
He wasn't alive. He never saw that part.
Okay.
He never saw so.
And how old are you now?
She can't say that word.
Yes, I can.
No, not now. When
As
you
you were
was doing
kid.
Oh,
right.
21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a good age.
Oh no, it was just That's a good
So when I
age.
was
It's the party
21.
age.
Yeah, 21 is
Yeah, that's the time.
Ooh,
we
but
get
I
into
started
that.
born at 17. 21 was.
So on the real, you just said, you know what? I'm gonna go home, and I'm about to just go on and go on.
No,
and go
yeah,
on.
no, I started smoking cocaine, and I wanted to.
And so you had to fund it.
Right.
So that's
now,
why,
and now
that's
I
why you
wasn't
went
in the
outside.
right. It got to the point to where I couldn't get it no more from the people I knew because most of them are in jail or somewhere else.
Right,
Now I had to get
right.
my own habit. So I said, I met a girl and she told me she makes money on Figueroa. So I tried it and I did not like it at all.
Okay, now
So
can we get like really intimate or no?
Mhm.
Just a little bit.
How was that feeling the first time
I
you
had to
tried
take
it?
myself out of myself.
You had to disassociate.
Yes.
Could you do it psychologically or your own? Or could you disassociate with other
I look
other,
more-
Did you have
with
to
other
be drunk
chemicals?
or high to make it
That-
happen?
Okay.
I think what really made me keep doing it was the motivation of the money
Right.
to get the cocaine. Because I
Right,
knew
so you
once
was focused on that.
on after this is over with, I can go get me some cocaine.
Right. Right.
And I made sure that I made a promise to myself that if I didn't like it, neither would they. So it wasn't like I was all into it. It's not. I didn't.
Right, no.
It was just an
nobody
act.
thought-
It was a job.
Right, it was a job.
process.
It was a job.
Right.
So I just went out there, and the first time it happened, the first time I got in the car and the police pulled us over, and I was like, I really didn't know what was happening. He was the police, as a matter of fact. The first time he was the police. I didn't know the trick about it.
Girl. So we to the police.
I know, I'm
make
just-
it-
But no, you just got some brand new.
But I'm out there all cute and stuff.
But
They know what
God
I'm
was
doing.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wasn't listening.
No, I
but
wasn't
he was
listening.
talking.
I wasn't
Yeah.
listening. So I went to jail for, it was easy. I think I had a ticket and they let me go.
Because your
But-
first
Right, that's the first one. But when you say jail and prison, we're talking about two different things.
Absolutely.
So jail itself, I would say about 70 times. More than 50, 70 times. But that's in a 25-year period.
Was it mostly when you was in the lifestyle of
Always.
prostitution side?
Always.
Or drugs? Or both?
Remember?
Were they hand in hand?
Yes. It's according to if they caught me with drugs and they arrested me. Sometimes they would arrest me for prostitution, I'd have drugs on me.
Gotcha.
So I get both
And then
cases.
both charges like that.
But sometimes they would just get me for prostitution, but they would let me out in 30 days. The first time, probably like they let you walk. Second time, it just adds up. 30 days, 60 days, 30 days, 90 days, 120. And I would go to Civil Grand a lot. I would go to Mariloma a lot. I would go to CIW a lot. No, that was back. That was later on.
Okay.
First I went to Civil Grand a lot.
But when you were there, could
Get some rest?
yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? What did your body do?
But did you clean
My
up?
body rested.
It did. Huh?
It rested.
Right.
No,
And
like,
you
but what the
detoxed.
withdrawal symptoms? And
No.
Good. Yeah.
None of
just
that.
chill
Just
out.
eating and sleeping.
Okay.
And wasn't hurt to get out and go get some more drugs. That was Lisa.
And she just-
Now we talking about Lisa.
You know Lisa, girl. I can't.
Now, when you were doing the prostitution thing, was there a pimp?
No.
Or you were just a freelance
No,
artist?
I was a renegade.
Oh, okay.
They call it a renegade. And the reason why I was able to get away with that is because I made a lot of money. Not back then it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I would share with all the drug dealers. Like all the gangbangers, but at that time all the gangbangers was selling drugs. So if I'm in your neighborhood and you have 5 gangbangers selling drugs, I'm gonna spend at least $400 to $500 a piece with each of you guys at night. So if you mess with me, then you mess with their money.
With their money.
So they not gonna
So
let
you
nobody
kind of
else
have
do it. I
protection.
had protection.
Ah.
And a pimp did try to give me one time, and the pimp told me, his name was Rabbit, he dead now. The pimp told me, you selling the wrong thing, because you attract men with jobs that want to smoke cocaine. And, that's what we're going to work with. So I just let you sell my cocaine, and I can sell a man a $20 rock for $100. Just because he thinking he going to get some, but they not going to get none. So,
It's a fugazi.
Exactly. So did you join Rapid or no?
no.
You didn't join.
Oh, I did sell some dope for him for like a month. But then when he started wanting to go
Now
out
he
of
like
country,
you
I'm
now,
not
right.
finna go out of country. I'm not finna give you no money and none of that. I've never given a man money. Never.
Right.
But one. Yeah. Yeah, my baby.
That love story.
That love story. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna have a special time for this love story.
That is too
What are your thoughts about pimps?
I think they're sorry because they depend on women to take care of them. They're a man that can't take care of themselves unless they have a woman do it.
Remember we went to that party?
Girl,
What party y'all gonna do?
you don't even want to know.
Was it a pimp party?
Yeah.
Were they dressed with the fish in the shoes and everything?
Yes. Yes. And the big
Players
staff
ball.
and the big.
We must go to the players ball.
It was a players ball.
Yeah, it was a players ball.
Little did we
The
know
men
the night we went.
That's something me and Hank should go with. That's something me and Hank should go to.
For sure, for definite.
Girl,
for
it was
sure.
wild.
Oh my gosh, but that was definitely going to be a question. About working with a pimp. or
Working
not.
with a pimp.
No. I was a straight renegade until I met Hank.
Oh.
Back again.
So now Hank is 4, and you guys know each other from the sandbox. And then
Riding
you
on the
move
robot
away.
slide.
You move away. Do you maintain contact when you move away?
Nope, I didn't see
You
him for
just
another
gone.
15 years.
15 years.
And
That's so long.
how I saw Hank was, are you ready for that part?
Okay.
So how I saw Hank was, I was in front of my daddy's motel, and I wish he could tell us, so he tell us, so he'll make you guys crack up, I swear. So I was out there prostituting, and it was so many cars lined up that I had to direct the traffic. Like, you wait here, I'm gonna go in here, I'll be
They
right
was
back.
lined up to be with you.
Lined up, girl. I'm like, I'll be right
Go, girl.
In and
I'll
out.
be right back. Wait, you wait
In and out.
In and out burgers. Turn park there. I go in, come out, come on. And so Hank was right there over there watching me. But they had told me a guy just got out of jail who used to rob people. And I'm like, and he told me, I'm like, who is that looking at me so much for? And I'm probably, for some reason, I always felt the same with my daddy's motel. And I'm out here by myself. I got no pimp. The people in the neighborhood don't really know me. I'm from LA. I don't care. You know, I've always had that bold, that fearlessness in me, right? Like, I need to make some money if I want to get high. And I knew money was the root of respect in the streets. That's your root of respect is money. So, and all the little other prostitutes were so mad at me because
I bet they were.
if they're on one corner and I come outside, they just all go in.
Yeah,
I was really
yeah.
cute.
And you never had
I
like
was
a
really
pimp
cute.
confront you or
Oh, yeah.
tell you to get out of the territory?
No, they couldn't because of gangbangers.
The
and
gangbangers
Had you.
They had my back.
Right.
You can't mess with me. I promise you, you couldn't mess with me. It's like I've had times where I go buy dope and they wouldn't let nobody in there. Says, "Who's that? Lisa, let her come in." They know I got hundreds, so they know I'm for the spin and I'm gonna leave. I'm not a lingerer.
Right.
I don't sit up and expect nobody to give me nothing.
Right.
You know, so I've had gangbangers that bet on me, like a new gangbanger would come in and say, "Man, who was that? Was she, strawberry?" Man, I bet you $50 you can't get Lisa to do nothing.
Exactly.
And so, like, one did offer, he asked me, he says, hey, if I give you this, what can you do? I says, bring me the ship that came on, and I may talk to you about it. Until then, hold it and I'll come back and buy it. So they respect that. Respect was from me, not strawberry.
Right.
And not just being, even though I was prostitute, I was still a lady, and I didn't jag, I didn't rob, and do none of that. So he went with Hank. So I'm standing on the corner. He comes over there, and he finally steps over there, and I'm like, now I'm getting scared for the first time because Hank is scary.
His presence.
Hank is scary.
Oh.
So I'm like, She's like,
She said,
you look like you need to be with me. I said, no, I don't. I had to get that boldness out of her. When he left, I was scared to death. I'm like, no, I don't. So he still stayed around, and so we became like friends. I thought I was his friend, but all the time he wanted me. I just thought he was my friend.
But when y'all saw each other, did you
click?
remember?
Don't tell her that. No. Don't tell her how it clicked. So we started getting high together, and he would come. Oh, he had girls. He did have. Now he was a pimp that had girls on the streets, right? And he would get their money, go get dope, but he would come to my rooms and get high with me with their money. So he would always try to sneak up under me and stuff, and I wasn't going for it. He was just my homeboy, I thought.
Right, she said, I thought. That's what you thought.
He had other plans. So he one night, I guess the girls and the guys never got tired of me getting all this money. So I had a room, and I had I'm sitting on my bed, and I had a drawer full of drugs. I had drugs in my boot. I had money in the drawer. I had money in my boot, and they just was about 6 of them in there. And I was helping, and I was getting people high.
Right.
So I was getting them high, but I could tell they was trying to rob me.
Oh.
I can tell you myself. Guess who knocks on the door?
Hank.
And so I said, I chose you, Hank. so he told everybody, he said, get your ass out of here. All of you. And the women stayed. They said, you two, get out of here. Hank was cold. He was cold. And they listened to him too because he was fearless. He was ferocious. And so after he left, after I left, he said, you know, we got to get him out of here because they're going to come back, right? So we went down further. So while we were going down further, we passed the street. I said, I used to live there. They said, me too. And so I said, where? He said, let me show you. So he walked around and said, you're that Hank Norman? You don't remember me? I'm Alicia, no guy who lives next door. He said, I got chill bumps. And so we started, and we remembered, and then we really stuck together. There was nothing that in the streets that could bring us apart. So I said, I tell you what, you robbing like crazy. Stop robbing, because if you get caught, you're going away for years. If I get caught, what I'm doing, I'm just going away for months. So I keep us high. You just have to protect me. And stay with me, and I just keep us high, get us food, whatever we need. So he started, so he would let me stay in the room alone in 5 minutes with the guy. He would bust the door open.
Oh my goodness.
He did try to rob a couple of guys. Like, no, don't take all the money. Don't take all. He said, all right, 100 for you, 100 for her, 100 for me. 100 for you, 200 for her. And he was passing off the guy's money.
The man's money?
Girl, Hank was a mess. He was a mess. Oh, he was just a mess. And I remember one time we were out there, he got shot. And
Like, how old are you now?
About 25.
Okay.
And he got shot. And I was driving.
Hank got shot?
I was driving the car with a trick. And I said, hey, pull over. I said, hey, jump in. And the guy was like, where he going? I said, he said, he can't go. I said, dude, just keep driving. So I ended up going to the motel. The dude had paid for it and took Hank in there and took his bullet out with some.
You took his bullet out?
I took his bullet out. I'm high. I don't care. Ain't no blood. I took his bullet out with one fire. I'm high. I don't blood don't affect me or nothing.
But what about the pain?
He had some. And Hank had all the dope too. He was high too. He was
high too. You feel it.
So we had the wrong fight one. We had the dope, and I took the bullet out.
Where is the trick? He there with the surgery too?
So I told him to get out a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
And look, Hank is big. So ain't that much with Hank. He's a
right.
trick. And so I took the bullet out, and then after the dope was gone, I said, hey, you in good hands there. I gotta go.
I gotta go. My inventory is right.
I do not like to run the dope. I cannot run the dope. I can't. So I left, and he went home, but I did take care of him, bandaged him up and everything. So he got out, and so he brought me to Long Beach.
Okay.
And then when he brought me to Long Beach, I'm like, I like Long Beach. It got both sides of this place. And each side has dope, got a whole track and dope dealers. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this.
This is the spot.
This
is the spot.
And then they had truck drivers. Oh my God. So me and Hank, I kind of like took over. But he got arrested in Long Beach, and then he left me out there by myself. He didn't leave me out there by myself. He got arrested. A helicopter and all chased us. And after he left, I was out here in Long Beach by myself. And I was still doing my thing, and it was really a trip because I would go to places I'd never been. People had never seen me. Girls trying to rob me again, but I was kind of bold by then. I was fighting by then.
Right.
I remember dragging one girl by her ponytail. I didn't even know because I told her to come back with my dope. She came with some rocks, real rocks, like from the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Lisa had to take care of it.
Lisa took care of it. So I got to know the gangbangers and stuff in Long Beach, the highest gangbangers. I'm not gonna say their names, but they told me you need to leave Long Beach because I hear you making a lot of money. You're not sharing it with us. I said, okay, well let me finish my hamburger and I'll be gone. And some kind of way, I know it was Hank in prison, telling people coming out of prison who I was because nobody would mess with me after. One guy told me he went in jail and talked to Hank, and when he came back out, didn't nobody mess with me. They was like, just make sure you share the wealth.
Right.
But they all knew I had something to do with Hank, and I never got messed with him on Beach. Then I went to prison.
Oh, not jail.
Not jail. I went to prison.
Football came out.
Yeah, you can. I went to prison for possession.
Possession.
Because the judge told me, first I was on probation, then I was on formal probation, and then I was on a formal probation with joint suspension. And that gives you 365 days to mess up. Like, if I get arrested, it's what, you go to the county for 30 days, it's 30, 90, and when they ask them 360, just as Mr. I don't have no more time for you in the state, in the county. Guess where you going? I said, damn.
I bet you did.
Damn. How long? He said 2 years. And so I went to prison for 2 years. And
What was that like?
I was excited. I wanted to go. I wanted to see what it was like. But I didn't want to stay there.
Right.
You know, but it was better than the county.
Okay.
It was better than the county because it's not people coming in and out so much. They're there for a longer time, so they're more settled. So I went there, and then they sent me to the Hoffman House the first 2 weeks I was in prison, and that's a halfway house, right? Then so on my birthday, the halfway house people says you gotta go get your license. I said, who going with me? They said nobody. I'm in Long Beach, girl. I'm in Long Beach. I know all the spots in Long Beach. I know all the spots in Long Beach. I'm like, what? She said, just be back my sis. I said, okay.
That's Alicia.
That was Alicia. So then when I left, I went to a bar, picked up somebody, went somewhere else, and I ended up out for about 2 weeks.
You didn't go back?
Heck no, girl. I went out so the police pulled me over. I had dope on me in my boot. I always kept dope in my boot. And I was AWOL, and I was escaped. They call it escape. Wow. So he said, dang, I might get a raise today. I got you for I got a good one. So they went in there. They gave me 4 years. So I had to do 4 years for that, for escape.
That sucks.
Yeah.
4 years. So they doubled the time.
Yeah, for escape. And then all this time, just think through it. The only time I'll call my daughter is when I was in. The only time I think most of my drug addiction was because I wasn't the parent I wanted to be, and I knew I had a daughter out there.
So where is your daughter during this period?
She's with her grandmother,
With her grandmother.
with her father's mother. Her father's mother. So her father's mother. So the only time it would hit me hard was when I was in jail or in prison, and I would miss my daughter. And all the rest of the times when I'm out, I was using the drugs to hide, to numb that pain. Because I love my daughter. I breastfed. I had her for 2 years before I left her. So we had a bond. So you know, every time I go to jail, I call my daughter. So one time I called my daughter, and my daughter found me some kind of way what hotel I was at. We don't know how she found out. I think my grandmother told her, and she told me she was 15. I said, hey, it's your mom. She said, hi. She says, hi. She says, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what? She was 15. I said, you're what? She said, I'm pregnant. I said, you old enough to be pregnant? So, that really blew my mind. I think I went got real low that night. And then the next thing I know, I was in prison. Because once you go to prison, you don't go to jail anymore. You go to only prison when you get arrested. So I went to prison and I called her. I said, hey, did you have the baby already? She said, yeah. She says, oh, I forgot to tell you, I named her after you. What? So my granddaughter's Alicia too.
That's beautiful.
And so I just wailed so much in the day room of the prison. I just couldn't believe this girl who I'd never raised, who I abandoned. I accept that. Named her child after me. And that girl looked just like me. So I said, you must really hate me. That baby looked just like me. She still looked like me. And so I finally got out, and
How did you rebuild once you got out? What's like your first steps?
rebuild with
Your life. You
Oh.
know what I mean?
When I first got out, what I did is, my godfather was a surgeon, and he had an office in Carson, and my mother worked there, and so I decided. I remember I was sitting over in the office. I really wanted to stay sober. I really did. So I went over there, and I was sitting in the office, and my mother was telling me to wait there. She was gonna take her lunch. I'm like, okay. And I was sitting there in the office, and the phone kept ringing. I'm like getting annoyed because I still had the twitches. You know how the twitches you have when you come off of drugs. And I was annoyed. So I said, the guy that seems always may help you. And the lady, and I talked to him, and then I calmed down because the phone wasn't ringing no more. So my godfather, he's my godfather, he passed by, he said, put her on the payroll. That's how I got my first job out of prison. So he did that, and in the meantime, I went back again one more time. I messed up and went back and did it one more time. And then when I came back home, the day I came home, I went to church with my mom. And I got baptized that same night. And from then on, I kept asking God to take the taste of cocaine out of my mouth because I didn't want to crave cocaine no more. I wanted to really be good. So I kept praying it and kept praying it every day, every night, every day, every night. And so while I'm working at the clinic, and so I went to church one Sunday night, and I was sitting at the end of the pew, and the pastor was a pastor from out of town. I don't even know his name, from Michigan, and I know he don't know me because he's a guest speaker. So I went to get in the line, and the usher came behind me and says, "Can you come back later?" No, this was daytime. He said, "Can you come back tonight because he's tired?" But the pastor said he let her go. I was the last one he prayed for. And when I got to him, he says, "Ooh, today your lucky day." He says, "I got to remove the taste of something out your mouth that don't want to come out."
Oh, praise God.
And I'm like, "How did you know this?" Because I'm praying to my, don't know, my mom don't even know I'm praying this. So he says, "So you gonna feel this." He said, "You gonna feel this." So he put oil in his hand, and he reached over, he didn't touch my lips, he just put his hand on my lips, and he said, "You ready?" And I said, "Uh-huh." And he just pulled, and I could feel it from the bottom of my feet. Just, and he took it in his hand, he threw it. And he said, "I got it." I have never craved cocaine from that day.
Oh, amen. Praise
I
God.
have never craved cocaine. And it's been 27 years.
Wow.
That is so amazing.
So then I went back, and then I decided, I had a friend that had an abusive husband, and he beat her to death eventually. But before she died, she says, "You be a good counselor." That was her mission, was to tell me to be a counselor to me.
Okay.
Because I said, "You know what, you're right, I probably would." So my godfather just would write check for I went to Cal State Dominguez, and my godfather would write a check and say, "Whatever it costs, don't worry about it." He wouldn't put the amount, he just write a check. And I went to Cal State Dominguez for a year, 3 years, because I take 9 courses, but I was doing them at night, so I was going slow. And I ended up getting a certificate for the classes. And then I took the state exam, and I got certified as a specialist, as a substance abuse specialist. And
That is awesome.
So it's about transformation and changing lives.
so now it was and I believe that God put me through all of that, because now I can deal with anything anybody goes through, from even males. I can deal with the jail people, I can deal with the prostitutes, I can deal with anybody, the parenting, people that's abandoning their kids, I can deal with all of that, you know. And like I tell most mothers that are in my groups, I tell them, you know, when I first came home, my daughter did not like me really. You know, when I hug her hands like this, and I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I was, and I remember when I came home, she was wearing all black lipstick, black everything. She was just
Damn.
and she was smoking lots of blunts, and I mean, she was me. She was me. And I couldn't do nothing, because what am I tell her? I just came out of prison and I smoked crack. What am I tell her? So I would just pick up her stuff and clean up her little house, and I'd be around. And she and every time I walked the door, she would say, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to the store." That little girl in her always wanted her mother, but she didn't know it. So I would go out to Moreno Valley to see her on the weekends and come back, and I'd go back the next weekend and see her. So one day I went out there, and she says, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to church." I said, "Ain't no church out here, you know." I said, "My pastor is preaching at church around the corner from you. I'm going, my pastor there." And so she messed around and followed me to church, and got saved.
Amen.
So after that, she was with an abusive man, and I told my daughter, I said, "You know your mom's home now. You don't have to be with him. You know you can come home with me. I'll come get you. Whenever you need me, I will come get you." So one day, I remember one night she called me and she said, "Mom, remember you said if I'm ready to leave him to let you know?" I said, "You ready?" She says, "Yes." I'll be there in an hour and a half. Because she was in Moreno Valley. So I went out there, and I didn't go in because I didn't want to go back to prison.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's my baby. So I went in. she came out and we left, and so she came and stayed with me and my mom, and she still wasn't really liking me too much because she was putting up with me. So the first time my daughter did lay her head on my lap, I froze. I didn't want to move. We were watching TV in my mother's room, and she laid over and she put her head on my lap like this. I'm like, oh my God. And I just froze. And then from there we just kept getting closer and closer. So she looked up at me one day and said, "You really not going away no more?" I said, "Nope. I'm not going nowhere no more. I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay." Then she got married again. She got married again, and I'd only been out like a year, and her in-laws were gonna be there. Her father's people, I'm the crackhead mom, so they took care of her while I was gone. So I had to go to this wedding in Moreno Valley by myself.
Where is Hank? You guys not together now?
We're not together yet. We haven't seen each other since we both went to prison.
Oh, okay.
I had been clean like 10 years before he came home. So I went to the wedding, and I'm sitting in the corner, and they're whispering, of course, the crackhead mom. And so I took my daughter into the reception room before she got married. I wanted to apologize to her before she got married, so that it wouldn't go into her marriage, the bitterness. And I told her, I said, "Malia, I just want you to know I'm so sorry that I abandoned you, and it was really the drugs because it takes away anything that makes you happy. And I always wanted to come home to you, just I couldn't. And I just want you to know I'm sorry." And my daughter looked at me, she says, "Mom, I forgave you a long time ago." Then I'm sitting in the corner, and so the wedding procedure goes on, and so then she said, when it was time to cut the cake, my daughter says, wait, where's my mom? Mom, I want her to cut the cake with us. Oh. Girl, you should see my chest stick out when I walked into that cake with her. Girl, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Exactly, right?
So then, that's me. And so I went and cut the cake with her, and we just had a good time. And then I just started working. I'm doing what I have to do.
In your counseling field?
I worked with women in prison. I've been to Site W again, but as a vendor in the front door, not going through the back door. I've been to Chowchilla as a vendor, going through the front door. And the first time when I cried because I couldn't believe I was going. When I walked up the front door, I just broke down in the parking lot crying because I'm like, whew, that's a big change. And I worked at Patterns, BHS. I've worked for private insurances. I've worked at, now at Tarzana.
Okay.
Tarzana, but not in Tarzana, it's in Long Beach. Okay. I was working in residential, and now when I go back to work next week, I'll be working the outpatient, where I can do groups, because I wasn't doing groups there. And to me, my calling is to explain to let people know my life so that they can know that they can change. If I can change, Lord, when I say I was out there, standing on corners,
and just the boldness.
Yeah, and the fearlessness, I believe came because of the kidnappings. I've been kidnapped like 4 times.
Tell us about a kidnap.
I've been kidnapped like 4 times. The first time, I was walking down the street, and the guy came up to me on Figueroa Road with a gun, broad daylight, and he says, "You go with me." And I'm like, again, fearless, but still scared inside. I'm like, I'm not going away. I do not think you'll shoot in front of all these people out here outside. So he says, "Oh, bitch." So he leaves, right? So I'm scared, so I hit the corner and go to the back street, and I'm saying, I gotta get out of here. So I wave down somebody to help to give me a ride to go to my homeboy's house, right? So the dude says, "I'll take you." I get in the car, and the guy that had the gun is in the car with him. So it was a setup. So they made me get naked in the car, and they take me to this vacant house, and they're gonna sell me to the dope dealers.
Oh my God.
But God intervened. His plans were different. So the first dope dealer they thought they were gonna sell me to, they came in there and they said, turn the light on, man. They told him, I said, "Man, cuz that's Lisa, man. Y'all done messed up. Y'all got Lisa in here." So they ended up beating the guys up and taking me back to my spot. To my homeboy spot. Intervention right there. Then one time, this pimp from Chicago kidnapped me, and he had a gun. He put a gun on me everywhere, like nose, ears, everywhere. And he said he was gonna kill me. It was a hollow point bullet was gonna go. How they was gonna find me in the trash can in the morning. It was terrible. He drove by La Brea shooting people. Said, "Now, do you think I give a fuck about your life?" And I was so scared. And I just that's the only time I knew I was dead. I knew I wasn't gonna get to this one.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up saying he pulled the car over in a residential area. He ended up saying, "Get out!" And I was butt naked, walking down the street. And he said, "Don't look back." So I knew he was gonna shoot me in the back while I was walking. He did it. And when I heard the car drove away, I ran out to my house.
I know, oh my God.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
the next time, it was when the Grim Sleeper was out,
Yes.
the one on Western.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in this car in the orange Pinto, and I kind of knew something was wrong with him when I got in the car, but it was not electric buttons yet on the car.
Mm-hmm.
They were just the ones you pull up, you know. And a little old orange Pinto. So his voice changed, and he got like aggressive. And I'm like, okay, I got to get out of this damn car. He said- So when I got to Western, for him to right by the Snooty Fox, for him to make that right turn, he had to stop because the traffic was coming this way. So I said, whoop, and I jumped out and rolled. I got a scar right here, right there from that.
Oh wow.
And I ran as fast as I could. So I always knew somebody, wherever I was walking, I knew somebody close by that I can run to the house. And then one time, I think that's 3 times. That's 3 times. I don't remember one time a guy kidnapped me, kept me for 2 days, but he just kidnapped me and blindfolded me and stuff. So
The trauma, how do you handle
the trauma?
Alicia? Have you ever? Do you put it in a box?
I think what I do, I don't know. I think it's the strength in me that God gave me because I talk about it. I don't hold it in. And I'm so grateful that I'm still alive, that it's like a blessing. And I forgive them. And I let God deal with them. And I don't hold the bitterness inside of me. Because even if, I'm not saying that I deserved it, but I was out there. You know? I was out there. And I would jump. And when that happens to me, what I do? After I get kidnapped, jump into another car.
Right.
So, you know, it's just like, the first time I got raped, I told somebody, one of the girls that was out there, she says, "Oh, girl, that's part of the business." And I cried so much because I didn't have nobody to talk to about it. It was my first rape in my life. And so...
Was this from one of your customers or just random?
One of my customers. And so I was walking down the street crying, and I could feel God hug me and say, "I got you." I've never told nobody, but I could feel his arms hugging me. And he says, "I got you." But he know I wasn't finished yet, but he's always protecting me. Because I've never been hurt. I've never been beaten up. I've never been, stabbed. I've never been like beaten by a chicken. Like nothing. Nothing. Just raped, but never,
That's a huge thing.
And because that's what I was doing, I just disassociate myself.
Right. Did they just turn wild? It's just during this routine transaction, if you will, this person takes the act too far and it becomes rape. You know what I'm saying?
It becomes it's when you get in the car and you ask for your money, it becomes rape, and they say, "I'm not gonna give you my money. I'm gonna take this." Or either afterwards they don't give you the money.
Yeah,
it's
like
rape.
whatever. After, yeah.
I know. I don't like it either. God will deal with them in the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, you talk a lot about disassociating, right? To be able to get through the trauma. On your journey to healing, did you spend some time in therapy to talk about
I think
that
school.
disassociation?
I think schooling, because I went to Cal State Dominguez, you have to deal with all of that stuff. You have to deal with all your family stuff, all your past stuff. To be a counselor, you have to deal with that stuff. You have to, they give you tools. And I think working in the field keeps me sober because I see my addiction and my disease in front of me. So when a person comes to me and they're craving or they don't think they can make it or they're suffering from addiction, I see me. So I think the tools that I've learned from school and I've talked to therapists before. I have talked to therapists, but not not on a one-on-one basis. Like I go to them, I either work with them or we sit down and talk. I would I would get them get some free services, and I would tell them, yeah. So I talk about it a lot, and I believe that when I talk about it, it releases it into the atmosphere and not in me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to hear about the greatest love story.
I know.
Yeah, Hank and me, you know what? Hank and me, even in our addiction, when we were together smoking cocaine, we were like best friends and lovers at the same time. There's nothing he didn't know about me. There's nothing. He's seen me at my worst. He's seen me at my worst. He's seen me with other men he couldn't stand. He wouldn't let me be in a room no more than 5 minutes. He kicked the doors in, like I said. So it wasn't like he seen me do what I did, but he seen me do it in a business way. He didn't see me hanging out and like trading sex for drugs like that. So he just saw me like a business transaction. And I kept it like a business transaction. If it didn't, he would. Yeah. So I remember one time I was in a truck, and this guy was about to take his money back from me, and I said, "Damn." And Hank was right there on the corner. He didn't know because they think all girls by themselves then. And I couldn't get his whole name out. He jumped through the window and put the car in park and beat the man so bad. That's how he got arrested in Long Beach. He beat the man up so bad. Oh my God. So I had to go to court for him. I was high as a kite.
Was it in Long Beach?
But I was so high I went to court for him. We was on the jail bus and everything together.
Oh.
I was so high I went to court.
Because you was just nervous.
No, high, girl. I was high. The lady his lawyer found me on the street to come to court.
To come to court.
And I was so fine. And he was sitting there shaking his head. He said, "Do you did it?" I'm like, I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Did the man rape you?" I said, "Yeah." And so then they gave Hank hardly no time.
Oh, because he was a good Samaritan. He was doing a good job. Right.
So then after that, so we just hung out, and then we have been through so much on the streets together. We talk about it sometimes, a lot of times. Rather, we've been to every motel together. We stayed at rinky-dink motels. Sometimes we didn't have no food to eat, and we just been through a lot together. So when he got out of prison, this is 15 years later. He had one of his homeboys because they have cell phones in prison sometimes. So he had told one of his homeboys to go on Facebook and find Alicia, the guy.
So while he's in there for the 15 years, you guys have no contact.
He didn't do 15. It's just that he got married to somebody else too.
Oh, okay. So you got married during.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got married when I came home twice. So I was getting married 4 times.
Really?
They were, because of my addiction and I was older, they were really dates that I married. Because I didn't really know what I wanted in a man yet. Because I didn't know. I didn't have no relationship. I always had tricks or just homeboys. I never had relationships, right? No long lasting. So when I came home, it said every guy I dated wanted to marry me. So I'm like, okay, let's get married.
She said, okay, let's get
I
married.
like
But
this
this is after you've been sober.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was sober, but still, I was like that child when she was 16, 17 years old.
Well, I think maybe you missed that period of
that
life.
stage.
Right. That stage.
So I was really marrying my dates.
Yeah.
Not dates, tricks, but dates. Like
girl who shows interest in
right.
you. Right.
I was married.
You didn't take inventory of this is what I want.
I didn't know what to look for.
Right.
I was looking for what everybody else thought I should have.
Right.
So, because when Hank came home, everybody at my job, my mother, everybody, even my daughter said, "Mom, don't get with him. He just got out of prison. Blah 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 blah." But he what I want.
Yeah.
What I want.
Right.
And by that time, I had 12 years sober. And so I would do what I want.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I want.
You happy.
Yeah.
I said, "What you want to do, Malia?" My daughter. She said, "You want me to break it with you?" She said, "Yeah." I said, it ain't happening.
She said she did at that time.
I do what I want, And then the first time he found me, he told me, he said, he called my, because on my Facebook page it has where I work at, so he called my job. And my job, when he said, hey, what's up? This is Hank. I'm like, hey. I kind of remember him, but I don't. It's been like 15 years later, right? I'm like, I kind of, but I don't. But anyway, so we got to talking, and he got to remind me of stuff, and I remembered him. But I remember the relationship I had, but I don't remember the intimate relationship we had, how intimate it was until later.
Okay.
Because I was disassociating myself with everybody. But when
Right.
I did need some love, I would go to Hank.
Mhm.
Even in the time of prostitution. When I wanted some
Safety.
real love, I would go, when I would sleep, I would sleep with nobody but Hank. Like sleep, like overnight, you know. I wake up with. And so,
Trust in childhood.
no, when we was out smoking.
But I'm thinking,
But
you
you
had
had that
trust.
trust.
From when
Right.
You guys were little. from
Exactly.
growing
You know
up
what?
together.
That's exactly what it was. So, we would wake up and I would sleep with it. We would sleep, wake up, plan on going on cruises and spending money on crack because we swear we was on a cruise this time, but we didn't. So he came to so he called me and told me that he was about to come home in about 6 months and he was gonna come find me. I said, I'm married now. He said, oh, you fuck about your husband? I was like, click. I said, click. I'm trying to save my husband's life. I said, click. I know, hey, one thing I do remember is that he will fight you, right?
He will
Click. So then he said, this shit just ain't come with me. This is what Hank told me. He said, this shit just ain't come with me. So then by that time, the guy that I was married to, we had a falling out. And I separated from him. About 6 or so. I said, let me, he tried to call me again. And then I said, I didn't answer. He left my job number, I think. How I got it, because I called him, said, I texted him on his Facebook page. I said, are you home yet? And he said he almost dropped the phone. He was over his mama's house. He said he almost dropped the phone. I said, Mama, guess who just called me? Guess who just said it? Because his mother loved me. His father loved me. He said, guess who this Lisa? And so he came to my job and it all fucking came back.
When you saw him, huh?
It came back like
Just all rushed in.
I had a coworker said, if that nigga looked at me like he just looked at you, he made me want him. Because it was like love at first, it was like love at third sight, you know.
Right.
It all came back, and so we started dating, and then I made him start fresh too. I said, I said, don't call me your girl, right? Because he had a white girl that was doing all his running when he was in prison.
Okay.
I said, do not call me your girl. Your girl is the girl, that other girl. No, don't
The
call me.
runner.
Right.
So I said, you ain't asked me to be your girlfriend, but now I'm ready for real marriage, so I know what to do, right?
You know what you're looking for.
Right. So he, I made him on my birthday. He did ask me to be his girlfriend on my birthday, and I said yeah. And then he started calling me his fiance. I said, boy, you just asked me to be your girlfriend. How am your fiance already? So he kept saying, I'm gonna marry you. I said, okay, well until then I'm your girlfriend. I'm your girl, right? So then about a year later, he did take me to the beach. He had all his friends help him fight a rain. And he asked me, he got on one knee on his khakis, girl. And it was raining too. He asked me to be his wife. And he asked me to marry him.
Okay.
And I said, okay. Then he started calling me his wife. I said, boy, if you don't quit rushing shit.
He just always wants to be
ready.
So then we did get married. We had a big old wedding too.
Did
you go to the wedding? No, you had? Girl, they all along was at that wedding. It's on YouTube.
So pretty.
If you ever know Hank and Lisa marriage, a wedding, you'll see the whole wedding. The whole wedding's on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Tremaine did the whole wedding.
Yeah.
The whole wedding is on there. So we got married, and we've been married 10 years. 10 years, I think. In October 22nd. I think we're 10 years or something.
That is so
And
beautiful.
it's like, because we know each other so well, we've been through so much tragedy together, I think that's why we're so close. We don't argue. We don't, if we do, it only lasts for 5 minutes.
Right.
You know,
Bicker.
we just know We just know each other so well. And
So
he makes me feel so safe, and he just makes me feel so pretty, you know, and he just, you know, he's changed a lot. I have girls like, how did you get Hank to, I speak to his soul. I speak hope in his soul. I speak everything into his soul, you know. I let him know he can do anything. And he, you know, I told him, you need to go in comedy, and that's how we started comedy. And when he came home, I was going to church already. So then I'm like, look, I kept going to church. Then of course I'm going to church, but then he started going to church. So now look where he's at in church. He's head of the men's ministry leader, and he's also deacon, and he keeps the church clean. Everything is church.
That
It's
is a
beautiful
blessing.
how everything turns around.
It
and
is.
Transformation. But at this point, when did you turn your life over to God?
That day I got out of prison and I went to church that night and got baptized.
Okay.
But I went back out again. And you know what? I would tell you, it's like you know some people, some of your kids you can just tap on the hand and say, stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you just have to whoop, and some of you just have to
Yeah.
really, I had to really get whooped.
Yeah, that's
And I was that last one out. I just didn't like it.
yeah.
I was already saved.
Mm-hmm.
It's like God said, I told you it's your time
Over.
to stop.
Yeah, it's over.
And
That's over.
I had all kind of visions, and I thought I saw demons, and I turned myself in. So please come get me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to go and do a year for violating for AWOL. And I was so contempt in prison that time, in jail, waiting for my sentencing. I'm like, I don't even care, God. What did they give me? I'm just going to serve you when I get out. I'm serious. And he knows when you're serious,
Yeah.
right? So everybody got a year, but me, I got 5.5. So I did 2 months in prison in a cell by myself with me and the Bible.
That was your time. That was your road
That
to
was your
Damascus.
That was the best.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and I
The
couldn't believe
transformation.
they can say she's rough. She giving everybody a year, and I'm like, whatever. I don't care. And my parole officer was in there. She says, I see a change in her, and I can see it in her eyes, and I think she's gonna be fine. I remember the parole board is really scary because you're in a room full of people and there's big desks, and you know you got your parole officer there, you got the state there, you got all these people there, these police there, and then I was like, whatever God gives me, I'm ready. I just want to go and serve Him, and you know the Bible was so amazing to me when I got transferred over, especially like Romans 12:1 and 2. When I talk about transforming your mind, everything in the Bible is just like a light.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Ephesians 5 and 6 about do not do this and do not do that, and be a child of light, the light of the world. And I just was ready.
Yes. He called his child. And we have to go through some of those. Well, it sucks.
I'm glad I did.
But we got.
Well, you have a test, so you can have a testimony.
And I was a mess. I was a mess to give a message.
That's a new one.
I hate talking that way. I was a mess to get a mess. Baby, I wish you was here to tell the rest of your side. You have so much more to say. He knows more. He remembers more than I do. And a lot of that I blocked out. I
Yes.
promise you, a lot of things he brings up, and I'm like, I don't remember, baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I blocked out on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, you had to.
Said, you don't remember that? I'm sorry. You don't remember that dude? No, I don't. I promise you, I don't.
He's trying to get you to remember. Don't you remember? You're like, no, I'm sorry. If you had one mission, those 2 missions, or whatever that was, and you went for it.
Mhm.
Isn't that? How's your grandbaby?
My grandbabies are fine, and God's not free for me yet because 3 months ago they found a tumor in my liver.
I can tell her.
You can tell Lori? They found a tumor in my liver about 4 months ago,
Oh,
and the lady told me I had stage 2 cancer. And so they went in the side to block the blood from going to the tumor. I talked to them. We went to sleep, took 3 hours under anesthesia.
anesthesia.
And I got out of that, and so then she wanted to save the other half of the liver, make it bigger, make this side bigger, so when they remove this side of the liver, it won't affect, I have enough liver to live. So then she said, she told, I had, my godfather surgeon went to the consultation with me and Hank. Hank stood me by, he stood by me the whole, everything. Every appointment, everything. So we went and she says, we're gonna cut her, no, then they went to my neck.
Oh,
And
Lord.
they did a line to the liver to make sure there wasn't pressure on my liver from this one growing. That night I didn't go to sleep either. I was woke. I was in a
Why they put the thing down your neck?
I heard it. And everything. I heard it. But he was very good. They were very good to me. Then when it was time for me to have to, they were going to take half my liver. The doctor explained to me and Hank how they were going to take half of my liver out and leave about 20%. And but she was, you know, hopefully that's enough to make so I can live without.
Hopefully.
Right. So then she said, "You don't have any questions?" And he said, "Yeah, I got a question." And he said, "Why you gotta cut my wife from here to here to get to a spot back there?" He said, "Give her the white people surgery."
The white people surgery.
So then that was a Friday. Listen, that was a Friday. That Monday morning at the clock, the doctor's assistant called and said, Doc wants me to let you know that she's been thinking about you all weekend, and she doesn't want to cut you. So we're gonna try another way. We're gonna do an ablation.
Oh.
And so they went through the side on November the 8th. Yeah, they went through the side on November the 8th, and they go in and they put a thing over the tumor and it burns it out.
Oh.
Technology, girl, God.
Yeah.
And so I got that to be put to sleep. She said it would be about 45 minutes, but it was 3 hours because he said I took my time and I wanted to get all of it.
Praise God. Yes.
So then last month I went to an MRI to see how it went, and they said they got all of it.
Oh, praise God.
Yeah, so speak up.
Story.
For one thing, everybody, speak up at your doctor's appointments. Don't let them tell you what you have to have. Ask questions.
Okay.
Speak
Okay.
up. And go to the doctors regularly, because if I wasn't so consistent with my doctor's appointments and diligent, they never would have found it, because it was no symptoms or nothing.
Was it through the blood work or something?
No.
Did you feel bad or
No.
What? No.
It's just I have a regular ultrasound. And so what happened is she saw it. I had one a long time ago, but it was like a pin, so they never worried about it. But my doctor says, you know what, let's take another look at your liver and see what's going on. So, and it's not because of the alcohol, it's the Hep C that I got cured of a long time ago. I got cured of that when I was in prison. But that caused the tumor in my
To come.
So people need to know. They need to know. Go to your doctors. I know some people just died of liver cancer because they tell you what you don't want to do is go to the doctor and it says there's nothing we can do.
That's
But
true.
that's true. I think about that when I avoid going.
Don't go, boy, go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
And I think as women, we have to slow down and take care of ourselves because we're always
And our husbands.
giving to others.
And our husbands, because they don't like to go to the doctor.
Yeah, that's true.
The make Hank's appointments.
And you don't want to go if you don't have to go.
He'll go if I make the appointment.
Okay. You guys are such a beautiful team.
You guys are.
Thank you.
So
Lovely.
I love seeing you guys' stories together on Facebook. It's so beautiful. It really is.
We've been through a lot. I'm not gonna lie. We've been through a lot. There's things he reminds me of, and I'll be like, no, baby, I'm so sorry. And it's something I do remember. He'll pass by a place along me and says, "Do you remember we?" No, I don't. Just say no.
I love that though. Wow, we have had a great time. How are you?
I hope so.
We
Definitely.
talked about finding God. We talked about strength. We talked about motherhood. We have spoken about your time away. But who is Alicia Delgado Norman today? Alicia Delgado, Lisa Norman, the Norman gang. Like, if you had to describe yourself right now, who are you?
A caring, strong, compassionate woman, independent woman.
And Lord, I mean, you. I want you to ask your question.
Oh,
And I don't want to steal it.
What story? What's that?
No, on the POJ show, I'm a nosy person.
Okay,
My
that's
sister
okay.
can tell you. And so I'm always interested in people's legacy stories, right? Which is a part of their origin stories. And you shared your origin story with us, which is a beautiful story. When you think about the legacy that you want to leave, what does that look like?
Compassion, caring for others, not putting others before yourself, but being there for others. I want to be known as a caring person that overcame obstacles, the worst of obstacles, and still made it in the world.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
That's what I want to be.
And I know in your pre-interview we talked about your mentoring women, right? And so there may be some listeners
Yes.
today that have been inspired through our conversation this evening. What would be that first step? Where would they go to seek a mentor? Or what organization are you working with now that they could maybe reach out to and get some support?
Tarzana. I work with Tarzana now. Tarzana is there's one in Tarzana, the detox, but the residential is in Long Beach. And then I would advise for people. There are so many mentorship programs now. I have so many. They could Facebook time me, email me. I would give anybody referrals. or I could be a mentor.
Because your church gives away food and
Mhm.
stuff.
You've never told us the name of your church.
St. Luke Holy Baptist Church,
St. Luke Holy Baptist Church, and that's in Long Beach?
right on 1401 34th Street.
Okay.
Red door.
Red door.
Red
How
door.
many years have you been fellowshipping there? A long time?
We've been there about 7 years.
That's a long time.
7 years.
I love
Before
to
then, I went to Peace Apostolic. That's a rough church. Bishop Swansea, he preached the hell out of it. I mean, literally the hell out of me, because he was a hell preaching teacher. But then when Hank got together, the Bible says follow your husband. So I followed my husband. Whatever church he wanted to go to, that's where I want to be at.
How do you feel about laying hands and deliverance and things of that
I believe
nature?
in it. When I delivered, I went to my church, and my pastor is so gracious. Ian Williams is so gracious. He is such a good preacher teacher. He's so intimate with his being a shepherd, right? He said a prayer that I would never forget. He asked God if he had any credits for God to give me. And that was so special to me. They didn't do the laying of hands, but he did pray for me. Then I went to my church where I got saved at, and they did the laying on hands with the oil.
Yes. I like that.
After that man laid his hands on me and took the taste out of my mouth,
Yes.
you cannot tell me there's no God.
Absolutely.
Then I smoked Newports. I haven't smoked a cigarette in 26 years
Oh, wow.
because I went to Bible study, and they had a Bible study retreat, and it was called Breaking Fetters. And a fetter is a ball and chain. What ever chains you down is called a fetter back in the biblical days. A fetter. So they said, take your, mine was smoking. So we went up to this big old hill in Big Bear, and they said, I'm gonna let everybody write down what their fetter is and throw it over the mountain. Girl, if them bears don't have that smoking habit, I don't know what. I can't be on that mountain down and smoking that.
Good.
I'm just one of those people that just get delivered from things.
Yeah. Yeah, you just when you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
That's how my mom did with smoking.
Yeah, just put it down.
Just did done with it, but she would also, you gotta be strong. And that's when I hear a lot of strength.
Because I was really scared to stop smoking and not have a cup of coffee and a cigarette in the morning.
But do you still drink coffee sometimes?
I can't, my stomach messes up now, but I drink decaf sometimes.
Decaf.
Decaf sometimes.
Okay, yeah. I like coffee.
Speaking about fear, what would you say to someone who might be watching us and they're like ambivalent? They have that fear of, I want to change, or I want to take that step to give up drugs, but I'm afraid of what I'll feel like.
Yeah, the
Or I'm
cravings.
afraid,
The cravings are the cravings are bad.
Mhm.
The cravings are worse than physical, and that's understandable. It's all about focusing on the positive. You have to replace that with something else. When I quit cocaine, I still had some thoughts. See, that's one thing you're gonna remember when you use. So every time I did this is when CDs were out really, and I would slip a CD in, because your brain is like a record player, like a record. And if you take the music off a record, it's a blank record.
Okay.
So you have to replace that
With
negative with something. And my suggestion would be to replace all your negative thoughts, all your thoughts of using or drinking or that whatever your addiction is, whatever your addiction is, you have to replace those thoughts with biblical thoughts, really.
Okay.
Positive thoughts, biblical thoughts, whatever. Mine was Jesus. So.
Yeah. Amen. Wow.
Well, it has been an evening.
I know. The evening
Oh,
of Alicia Norman, the Alicia Norman story, oh my God, from prostitution to prayer. And yeah, I was just going to mention what we did, but no, when God, you just do what God already knows what He's going to do. So, have you had a good time tonight, Peter?
I've had a wonderful time. Yes.
I had a good time. What about you, Peter?
I had an incredible time. Definitely.
I
You're
love
such a
you.
calm person. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
We ejected me.
We wild bouncing off each other. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Oh.
Alicia. Is there any questions for us?
Or anything you
What
want
do
to
you
tell
think?
our
Yeah.
viewers?
Just don't give up, and believe that you are special. male or female, woman or man, believe that you can do whatever you want to do and do what you want to do in life, not what everybody else wants you to do. That's what makes me happy. You know, I keep it real with myself.
Right.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Right. And you feel better.
And that confuses people sometimes because I may give you a lot because I want to, but when I want to stop, I just stop.
Right. Right.
But you know, that is really hard, I think, for some people. I know for me, it was hard. When I was younger, it was just yes. I would always say yes. You know, and it took me to get to be 50 to be able to say no.
And the sad part is, there's nothing wrong with saying yes. It's the people. It's when people take advantage of it. Yes, that's the one.
Right.
And I used to get really upset. People says, "Well, why you keep giving them?" Because I want to.
Right.
Now, when I don't want to,
then I don't
want to.
Right. But somebody, then they get upset. We don't want to.
Right, it's too late. But look how much you
It's
done
mine,
get.
and I give it to you.
It's like saying you're sorry. If I tell you, say you don't forgive me, okay.
But I told you.
I did my part. That's between you and God.
Exactly. Now you gotta do that's your accountability, right?
I feel better.
You have to take that selfish role after a period of time. I mean,
That's
when you,
true.
maybe it is the word selfish because you got to take care of self. That's what I'm learning because I wasn't doing enough of that. But you got to take care of self, and I think that's necessary.
And I'm not ashamed to say that in March I'll be 65 years old, so I've learned.
Praise God.
I have learned a very lot in life. And most people talk to me and they look at me younger than I am, and then when I tell them all the young, they're like, "Oops, I bet she knew what I was meaning when I said that." Yeah. Just let people talk.
Right. I appreciate
I
it.
love them anyway.
No matter what.
Well, we have enjoyed you so very much.
Thank you.
Definitely. And we'd love to have you back.
Love to me and Hank together.
Yes.
Oh,
that
Oh my God, that would be a funny.
And then we got to go on the road because you know Hank is back on the road with his comedic career.
Oh, yeah.
He's touring.
Okay. He's touring. He will be at the
I want to support. Yes.
Mulligan's. Oh God, I can get my phone. He'll be March 7th at Mulligan's Bay in the marina in Long Beach. Look at his Facebook page.
Okay.
Hank
Yes.
Norman. All right.
Yay.
And then this is the other thing he does. He does shows. He's going to do from prostitution to prayer. This will be a lady's hand on the Bible.
I can't wait to see that.
He sends out this to all his friends, flossing and all, you'll see him, Gangster for God.
Gangster
Nice.
for God.
And he has one that says banging for the Bible.
I like that one. Banging for the Bible.
And you also got to check out his new fish tank. He's got
Oh God, that boy in fish tank.
It is nice though.
He probably sitting in front of it right now.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the
We had a
Poetry
great
Justice
time.
Show. And we had an
Bye.
amazing time. Thank you so much, guys.
See you later.
See ya. I'll do it. I'll do the honors. You got it, sister.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I'll
guys.
see you.
Yes, we had a cool number of people watching, guys. Let's go here. I haven't done this in a long time. There we go. Are you sure you want to? Yep.
Okay. You're live.